Welcome back to the channel JF Coin Lovers and Treasure Hunters. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins ever minted in American history, the 1-cent 1960 D Lincoln penny. A coin that many people ignore every single day, yet a few lucky collectors have found pieces worth hundreds of dollars, and in some rare cases, even thousands. Yes, this small brown coin, often tossed in jars and forgotten in drawers, could actually be a hidden treasure waiting in your hands. So stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you might start checking your own pennies much more carefully. Let's begin our story back in the year 1960. America was changing fast. Dwight D. Eisenhower was in the White House, the economy was booming, and the U.S. Mint was working tirelessly to keep up with the nation's growing demand for coins. The Denver Mint, known for the small D mint mark stamped beneath the date, struck millions of Lincoln cents that year. But here's where it gets interesting. 1960 was no ordinary year for the Lincoln cent. It was the year of one of the most famous varieties in U.S. coinage history, the small date and large date 1960 Lincoln cents. Now, what made the 1960 D penny so special? The answer lies in the design of the date itself. The U.S. Mint initially produced a smaller font for the numbers in the date, which collectors now call the small date variety. Later that same year, they changed it to a more prominent, bolder design, the large date variety. Both versions were minted in Denver, and that created a storm among collectors. The two varieties looked very similar at a glance, but under closer inspection, the difference became obvious. The 0 in the date on the small date version sits higher, and the top of the 6 is level with the top of the 1. On the large date version, the 6 appears slightly higher than the 1, giving it a completely different look to the trained as millions of pennies rolled out from the Denver Mint. The two varieties got mixed in circulation. For decades, nobody thought much of it. But coin collectors are a sharp-eyed community. Once they began spotting differences, excitement spread like wildfire. People started checking every penny they had, looking for that elusive small date or special minting error that could turn an ordinary cent into a fortune. Now, let's talk about what makes some of these coins truly valuable. The 1960 D Lincoln penny can be worth anywhere from just a cent in regular circulation to an impressive market value of $442, and sometimes even more if it's in exceptional condition. That's right, a single penny could be worth hundreds of dollars if it has the right characteristics. And we'll explain how to tell if yours does. First, collectors pay close attention to the mint mark and the condition. If your 1960 D penny has never been used in circulation, it might still have its original bright copper-red shine. Such uncirculated coins, graded by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, can bring astonishing prices at auction. The higher the grade, the higher the value. A 1960 D small date penny in mint state condition can easily sell for hundreds, while special error coins, those with double die averse, repunched mint marks, or striking anomalies, can reach even higher prices. One of the most famous varieties is the 1960 D over D repunched mint mark. This means the mint worker accidentally struck the D mint mark twice in slightly different positions. To collectors, that small human error makes the coin far more interesting and much more valuable. Another rare discovery is the 1960 D small over large date, a transitional variety where elements of both date designs appear on the same coin. These hybrid coins are like little mysteries in metal, the product of a changeover during minting, and they command serious attention from collectors worldwide. But the beauty of the Lincoln penny doesn't stop with its errors or varieties. Its history stretches back to 1909, when the first Lincoln cent was created to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The idea was revolutionary at the time, to honor a U.S. president on a circulating coin. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln penny became a symbol of America's respect for its history and values. On the front, the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, calm and determined, represents freedom and leadership. On the reverse, back in 1960, the design showed the Lincoln Memorial, honoring one of the most recognized monuments in Washington, D.C. Think about it. This little copper coin connects you directly to over a century of American history, to the legacy of Abraham Lincoln himself. Every time you hold one in your hand, you are holding a piece of that story. Now, you might be wondering, how can you tell if your 1960 penny is one of the valuable ones worth hundreds of dollars? The first thing to do is grab a magnifying glass and look closely at the date. Compare the size of the numbers. If the 0 sits high and even with the 1, it's a small date variety. If the 6 seems taller and the numbers are bolder, it's a large date. Then check the mint mark. Is there any doubling? Any visible misalignment? Those small imperfections are what collectors crave the most. Next, examine the condition. If the coin still has its original reddish copper tone with no visible scratches or wear marks, you may be holding a mint state coin. Such coins, if authenticated and graded, can fetch impressive prices. Recent auctions have seen 1960 pennies selling for over $442, especially those with rare repunched mint marks or unusual die varieties. It's incredible to think that a coin that once bought a piece of candy in 1960 could today be worth enough to fill a grocery cart. That's the magic of numismatics, turning small discoveries into big rewards. So don't underestimate the power of a penny. Check your jars, look through your old piggy banks, and pay attention to every detail. Because out there, among billions of Lincoln cents, could be a hidden gem just waiting to be found. The 1960 Lincoln penny stands as a reminder of how even the smallest objects can carry immense history, beauty, and value. It's not just a piece of metal, it's a piece of America's story. Whether you are a collector, a history lover, or simply someone who enjoys finding treasures in unexpected places, this coin teaches one lesson: never overlook the little things. And who knows? The next time you pick up a penny, it might just be one of those ultra-rare 1960 Lincoln cents worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So keep searching, keep learning, and keep collecting, because every coin has a story, and the 1960 penny story is one of the greatest in U.S. coin history. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins, valuable pennies, and hidden treasures in your pocket change, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Until next time, keep your eyes on your change, because the next fortune might just be in your hands. Would you like me to make a second, even longer version with more storytelling, historical background, and coin collector tips, like a 10-minute video script? Today, we are diving deep into the world of the 1981-cent Lincoln penny, a small copper coin that has made big headlines in the world of collectors, history lovers, and treasure hunters. You won't believe how much some of these coins are worth today. Some have even sold for over $400, and one special variety recently reached an incredible market value of about $442. So, if you have a 1980 penny in your collection, or if you ever come across one in your change, don't let it slip away, because it could be your lucky day. Now let's begin the fascinating story behind this amazing coin. The Lincoln penny, as we all know, has been one of the most iconic coins in American history. It was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin became the first United States coin to feature a real person. And not just any person, but the beloved 16th President of the United States. Over the years, the Lincoln penny went through several design and metal composition changes, but one thing remained constant: its place in the hearts of Americans. Fast forward to the year 1980. The 1980 Lincoln cent might look ordinary at first glance, but there's a lot more going on behind this small copper piece. By 1980, the United States Mint was still using mostly copper in pennies, around 95% copper and 5% zinc. That means the 1980 penny was among the last few years before the major metal composition change in 1982, when the Mint switched to a mostly zinc composition with only a thin copper coating. So, the 1980 Lincoln penny stands as one of the final true copper cents, a detail that adds both historical and collector value. But what really makes some 1980 pennies special and ultra-valuable are the rare minting varieties and striking errors that appeared during production. These mint errors, caused during the high-speed coin manufacturing process, can transform an ordinary 1-cent coin into a highly sought-after collectible worth hundreds of dollars. Some of the most popular 1980 penny varieties include double die errors, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, and even repunched mint marks on coins from the Denver Mint. For example, if you find a 1980 penny with the mint mark D under the date, that means it was struck in Denver. Now, pay close attention to the details of the lettering, especially the words Liberty and In God We Trust. If any of those letters appear slightly doubled or distorted, you might be holding a double die penny, and that is where things get exciting. Certain 1980 double die examples have fetched prices well over $400 in certified high-grade conditions. That's right, a single cent turning into $442 in today's collector market. Imagine the thrill of finding one of these treasures hiding in your change. Now, let's talk about the history and how this coin connects to the bigger story of America's economy. In 1980, the cost of copper was rising sharply, and the U.S. Mint was facing increasing pressure to reduce production costs. That's part of why the penny's metal content was soon changed in 1982. This makes the 1980 penny one of the last witnesses of an era, when pennies were still made of real copper, a metal that actually costs more than 1 cent today. Because of this, some collectors even value these coins for their copper content alone, while others see them as a symbol of American craftsmanship during a time of economic change. But the magic doesn't stop there. The 1980 penny also tells a story of quality and rarity. When you look closely at the coin, you'll see the detailed design, Lincoln's sharp profile, the crisp lettering, and on the reverse side, the iconic Lincoln Memorial. If you examine the steps of the memorial and find a coin where all the steps are clearly visible, that indicates a strong strike, something collectors refer to as a full steps detail, which makes the coin even more desirable in the market. Now, let's move on to the current market value and what collectors are paying for these coins today. A normal circulated 1980 penny is still worth 1 cent in everyday use. But even in lightly circulated condition, these coins can sell for a few cents more to collectors who want to complete date sets. However, if you happen to have a 1980 penny in uncirculated or mint state condition, with shiny surfaces, minimal marks, and strong details, the value jumps significantly. High-grade examples certified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can sell from $10 to $50, and if your coin has a rare minting error or double die variety, the price can skyrocket into the hundreds. For instance, a 1980 Lincoln penny graded MS67 read by PCGS sold for an astonishing $442 in an online auction. The vibrant red luster, sharp details, and pristine surface made it a standout piece for collectors. This is why it's so important to check every detail of your coin, because small features like a double date, a repunched mint mark, or even a slight off-center strike can make a world of difference. Collectors love the 1980 penny not just for its potential value but for its place in the rich story of the Lincoln Cent series. It represents the last strong chapter before the shift to cheaper metals. Each of these copper coins feels like holding a small piece of history, one that connects us directly to a time when craftsmanship, metal, and design mattered deeply in coin production. If you're wondering how to check the value of your own 1980 penny, start by looking at the condition. If it's bright, shiny, and free from scratches or dark spots, that's already a good sign. Then, use a magnifying glass to check for any doubling in the date or lettering. Pay attention to the mint mark, whether it's a D for Denver or no mint mark for Philadelphia. If you find any unusual markings, slight misalignments, or doubling, consider getting it appraised or graded. You can send it to a professional grading service, and if it turns out to be a rare variety, you might be holding a coin worth hundreds of dollars. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and the 1980 Lincoln penny is proof that even the smallest coin can hold incredible value. Whether you're a passionate collector, a history lover, or just someone who loves treasure hunting, this coin has something to offer. So next time you get some change, take a moment to look carefully. You never know when you might find a hidden gem worth hundreds of dollars. The story of the Lincoln penny continues to inspire, reminding us that history can live in the smallest things, even in a 1-cent coin. The 1980 penny may be small, but it carries a big story, a story of change, legacy, and unexpected fortune. So, my friends, before you spend that penny, give it another look. That 1 cent could be worth $442 or even more. Keep your eyes open, keep your magnifiers ready, and who knows, the next big treasure might just be sitting in your hand. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed learning about the history and value of the 1980 Lincoln penny, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories about rare coins, hidden treasures, and valuable finds from around the world. Turn on notifications so you never miss another discovery, because every coin has a story, and sometimes, that story is worth a lot of money. End of script. Would you like me to make a version with a more emotional and dramatic narration style, great for voiceover storytelling with background music, or keep it factual and energetic like a coin collector show host? Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and surprising coins in American history, the 1983 Lincoln penny. A tiny copper-colored coin that most people ignore, yet it hides a secret that could make it worth up to hundreds of dollars in today's collector market. So sit back, relax, and let's explore the story, the history, and the unbelievable value behind this special coin that might just be sitting in your pocket right now. The year was 1983. America was in a time of change, the economy was stabilizing, technology was advancing, and the U.S. Mint was still adjusting to a major change in coin production. Just 1 year earlier, in 1982, the Mint had switched the composition of the penny from almost pure copper to a new and cheaper metal combination, copper-plated zinc. This was a huge shift. Before 1982, pennies were made of 95% copper, but rising copper prices made it too expensive to keep minting coins that cost more to make than their face value. So the Mint introduced a lighter, cheaper coin with a zinc core and a thin copper coating. However, during that transition, something mysterious happened. In 1983, the Denver Mint, represented by the little d under the date, struck millions of pennies. But among them, a few strange coins appeared that didn't seem like the others. They looked almost the same to the naked eye, but experts discovered that some of these 1983 pennies were actually struck on copper planchets, the same kind of metal used before the change in 1982. That was not supposed to happen. These are what collectors call transition-era coins, and they are extremely rare and highly valuable. Now, why are these 1983 Lincoln pennies so special? Because finding one that was accidentally struck on the wrong metal is like finding a hidden treasure. Imagine holding a small piece of history that slipped through the Mint's quality checks, survived circulation, and ended up decades later in someone's collection, or maybe in a jar of coins at your home. These era pennies weigh about 3.1 grams, unlike the normal zinc version that weighs only 2.5 grams. So if you have a 1983 penny, take a small digital scale and check its weight. If it's 3.1 grams, you might be holding a rare copper version that could be worth hundreds of dollars or even more depending on its condition. Collectors are obsessed with these rare coins because they represent a moment in history when the Mint was transitioning from old to new technology, from copper to zinc, and from tradition to modernization. Every one of these rare 1983 pennies tells a story of human error, of machine precision, and of how something so small can carry so much historical and financial value. Let's talk about the design of the coin. On the front, or obverse, you'll see the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design first appeared in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and has been used ever since. On the reverse, or back side, you'll see the famous Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of unity and strength, standing tall as it did on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. The tiny details of the memorial are so precise that if you look closely, you can even see a tiny image of the statue of Lincoln inside, a detail most people never notice. The D mint mark under the date tells you it was minted in Denver, one of the busiest mints in the United States. Now, let's talk about the value, because this is where things get really exciting. Most regular 1983 pennies made of zinc are only worth 1 cent in circulation, maybe a few cents if they're in uncirculated condition. But the rare copper versions, the ones that slipped through by mistake, have sold for astonishing prices. Depending on their condition, mint state, and certification by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, these coins can fetch hundreds of dollars or even cross into the $1,000 range at auctions. As of today, one example of a 1983 copper penny in top condition is valued at around $442, and some collectors are willing to pay even more for a high-grade specimen. But that's not all. Even regular 1983 zinc pennies in pristine, mint-state condition can still be worth more than face value. A flawless example graded MS67 red can sell for $50 to $150 because of its beautiful luster, sharp strike, and immaculate surfaces. So whether your penny is in error or not, it's always worth checking carefully. Here's how you can identify if your 1983 penny might be worth money. First, check the weight. As mentioned before, a normal zinc penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. Anything around 3.1 grams means it's likely made of copper. Second, look closely at the surface and edges. A copper penny will usually have a slightly deeper reddish-brown tone, while a zinc penny looks shinier and lighter. Third, check for any doubling in the lettering or numbers, what collectors call a double die. Some 1983 pennies, especially from the Philadelphia Mint, show strong doubling on Liberty and In God We Trust, which also makes them valuable. Think about this. A single penny you could find in your change, something you might have tossed aside, could be worth hundreds of dollars today. That's the magic of coin collecting. It turns everyday objects into historical treasures, pieces of art, and windows into America's story. Every coin tells us something about its time, about economics, about design, about technology, and about the people who used it. The 1983 Lincoln penny is no exception. It stands as a symbol of a major shift in the U.S. Mint's history, and owning one is like holding a little piece of that transformation in your hand. So before you spend that penny or throw it into a jar, take a moment to look at the date, the mint mark, the color, and the details. Because who knows, you might be holding a tiny copper coin that's worth $442 or more. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting: the thrill of discovery, the stories behind each coin, and the chance to uncover hidden value where nobody else looked. If you love stories like this and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins hiding in your everyday pocket change, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another exciting coin story. Share this video with your friends and family. Who knows, maybe someone you know is sitting on a fortune without even realizing it. This is the incredible story of the 1983 Lincoln penny, the tiny coin with a big secret, the mistake that became a masterpiece, and the 1-cent treasure that could be worth hundreds of dollars today. Would you like me to extend this script further with an ending outro section including call to action lines for engagement, like, comment your rare coin below, or stay tuned for next video on the 1984 double die penny? I can make it even longer and more YouTube optimized. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating story of the 2016 Lincoln penny, a small copper-colored coin that's turning heads in the coin collecting world. Believe it or not, certain 2016 Ultra Lincoln pennies are being sold for jaw-dropping prices, even reaching up to $442 in today's market. So what makes this ordinary penny so special? Let's find out. The Lincoln penny has been one of the most iconic coins in American history. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, it replaced the Indian head cent and quickly became one of the most beloved coins ever made. Over the decades, the Lincoln penny has gone through many design and composition changes, from wheat ears on the reverse to the Lincoln Memorial, and then the current Union Shield design introduced in 2010. But what many people don't realize is that modern pennies, like the 2016 edition, can sometimes hide rare errors and variations that make them worth far more than face value. The 2016 Lincoln Shield cent was minted in massive numbers. Billions of them rolled out from both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Most of them are made of copper-plated zinc, weighing 2.5 grams, with the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and a bold Union shield on the reverse, symbolizing national unity and strength. But within that huge production, there were a few rare coins that collectors now call ultra Lincoln pennies. These are coins that stand out because of unique minting errors, striking mistakes, or high-grade conditions that make them incredibly valuable. So, what exactly makes a 2016 Lincoln penny worth hundreds of dollars? Well, it all comes down to condition, rarity, and error types. Some 2016 pennies were struck with doubled dies, meaning the image or lettering appears slightly doubled under magnification. These doubled die varieties are always a hot favorite among collectors because they are easy to spot and extremely rare. Others have off-center strikes, where the design is not perfectly centered on the coin, giving it a unique, one-of-a-kind appearance. There are also instances of die cracks, cuds, and plating bubbles, small imperfections that occurred during minting but now add huge collectible value. The key to finding a valuable 2016 penny is to look closely. Grab a magnifying glass and inspect the lettering around the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and 2016. Look for any doubling, extra lines, or distortions. Check the shield side carefully for cracks or missing parts of the design. Sometimes, even a small flaw that's visible to the naked eye can boost a coin's value from 1 cent to hundreds of dollars. Some of these error coins, when graded and preserved properly, have been sold for as much as $442 or even more in auctions and online marketplaces. Now, let's talk about grading, one of the most important factors in determining a coin's worth. The higher the grade, the higher the price. A 2016 Lincoln penny in mint state condition, especially graded MS67 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, can fetch serious money. That's because finding a flawless penny with no scratches, spots, or wear is extremely rare, even though millions were produced. Collectors pay premium prices for perfection, and that's exactly why some Ultra Lincoln pennies are now considered modern treasures. But the story of the Lincoln penny is not just about money, it's about history and legacy. Every time you hold a penny, you're holding over a century of American heritage. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, was chosen for the coin because of his leadership, his courage, and his role in preserving the Union during one of the darkest chapters in U.S. history. The shield design on the reverse carries that legacy forward, symbolizing the unity of the states that Lincoln fought so hard to protect. It's fascinating to think that such a small coin can carry such big meaning, both historically and financially. The 2016 penny may look modern and simple, but it's part of a long story of craftsmanship, change, and hidden treasures that coin collectors around the world continue to uncover. So if you have a jar full of spare change sitting in your house, now is the time to check it. Look through your 2016 pennies carefully. Who knows, you might be holding an ultra-rare error coin worth hundreds of dollars. Even a small detail that looks off could be your ticket to a valuable discovery. Many people have found rare coins right from their daily pocket change and ended up making hundreds or even thousands of dollars just by paying attention. And here's another interesting fact. 2016 pennies with special finishes from mint sets or proof sets can also be worth more than regular circulation coins. Proof pennies are made with polished dies and planchets, giving them a shiny mirror-like appearance. These coins, especially when kept in pristine condition, can also reach impressive prices among collectors. In today's coin market, the excitement for modern pennies is growing faster than ever. Collectors love finding these hidden gems that others overlook. And as time passes, fewer high-quality examples remain, which only drives their value higher. That means your 2016 Lincoln penny might not just be worth a few dollars today. It could be a long-term collectible investment that appreciates in value over time. So remember this. Never underestimate the power of the penny. A simple coin that you might ignore could be a rare collectible hiding in plain sight. The next time you get change from the store, take a moment to look at your pennies. Check the year, the mint mark, the surface, and the details. Because if you happen to spot a 2016 Ultra Lincoln penny, you might just have a $442 treasure sitting in your hand. Before we wrap up, let's do a quick recap. The 2016 Lincoln Shield penny honors Abraham Lincoln and symbolizes American unity. Most are worth 1 cent, but rare varieties with minting errors, doubling, or perfect grading conditions can skyrocket in value. Collectors and investors alike are hunting for these ultra-rare examples, and the coin market continues to reward those who know what to look for. So keep your eyes open, your magnifier ready, and your curiosity alive. You never know when you might stumble upon one of these modern-day treasures. A single coin could change your collection forever, or even your wallet. If you enjoyed learning about the secret value and history of the 2016 Ultra Lincoln penny, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more exciting coin stories, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video about rare and valuable US coins. Share this video with your friends and family. They might have a hidden fortune sitting in their change jar right now. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep collecting, keep searching, and keep discovering the hidden treasures in your pocket. Who knows? The next valuable coin could be right in your hands. Would you like me to make this script sound even more dramatic and emotional, like a storytelling style for maximum YouTube watch time? I can rewrite it with hooks, suspense, and punchy lines that boost engagement and retention.